Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Dafuq Did I Just Watch? With your host, as always, Kyle McLemore. This week we'll be recapping and reviewing the latest Marvel movie, Thor, Love and Thunder. Now, before we get things started, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely appreciate all the likes and follows, and feel free to comment any movies or television shows you'd like us to review here at Dafuq. We will be recapping and reviewing quite a lot, so if you haven't seen Thor and would still like to, please pause now and return later, as this is your official spoiler alert. With this latest installment of Love and Thunder, Thor is now the official Avenger with the most solo movies. And how does this one stack up with the others? Love and Thunder is directed by Taika Waititi, who you may know from his previous work on Thor Ragnarok, What We Do in the Shadows, and JoJo Rabbit. The role of Thor is of course played by Chris Hemsworth, the return of Natalie Portman as Dr. Jane Foster, Tessa Thompson also returning as Valkyrie, Taika Waititi also pulling double duty, not only directing but also reprising his role as Gorr. Love and Thunder also marks the debut of Christian Bale entering the MCU. So let's get into this review of the 1987 classic, Thor, Love and Thunder. Oh, did I say 1987? Oh, I'm sorry, I meant 2022. How stupid of me. It's just that there's so much Guns N' Roses in this movie that it's crazy, that it might as well be 1987. Not only is there a huge amount of the soundtrack that is exclusively Guns N' Roses, there's also a ton of 80s font all through the beginning. The first 5 to 10 minutes of this movie is basically a 1987 heavy metal music video, and it's fucking great. I would even argue that the first 5 to 10 minutes of this movie is the best part of this entire movie. Now, when I say that Guns N' Roses is heavily featured, I mean Guns N' Roses is almost exclusively the soundtrack to this whole movie. Like, what do you get? You get Paradise City, Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, and then there's one more, but it's like non-stop Guns N' Roses start to finish, which is like cool at first, but then after a while it's like, hey, what's with all the Guns N' Roses? Like, is Axl like a producer on this movie? Like, what is going on? Did Slash, is he EP? Is he the executive producer on this? Like, why is there so much Guns N' Roses? There's a kid who's rocking a Guns N' Roses shirt and poster like the whole movie. One of the kids is like, nah, call me Axl, because I saw this dope band I'm into now, so don't call me like Astrid anymore, I'm Axl. And it's like, dude, is Taika Waititi like the biggest Guns N' Roses fan ever? Or did Axl and Slash somehow become executive producers on this film? Like, what is going on with all this GNR, dude? I love Guns N' Roses, but at a certain point, it's like, what's going on with all this? There is a lot of humor in this movie. I would say almost like a little bit too much humor, if that's even a thing you could say. I mean, they're coming at you with like submachine guns filled with jokes. It's just like non-stop fucking with just like rat-tat-tat-tatting off these jokes every like 2 seconds. So much so that it's like hard to keep up with. So much so that it like hurts the mood a little bit. Like anytime, like I feel like there's never like anytime it slows down to like feel any kind of emotion, it's just like rat-tat-tat-tat-tatting those jokes across the screen so fast and furious that you can't even keep up with it. Chris Hemsworth returning, of course, as Thor and bringing a great performance. He's really tapped into, I feel like, the character. He really tapped into like some of the good humor as well as like a lot of the emotion that Thor is feeling that we don't get to see as much. The physique on Chris Hemsworth is insane. He goes full like Terminator status. I'm talking like prime time Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 1. Not even that. I'm talking like CGI Arnold Schwarzenegger that they put in like that Salvation movie. CGI Arnold is how insanely good Chris Hemsworth looked. Like, he's shredded city, dude. Shred city. It's insane. It's insane how shredded that dude and how huge he looks in this movie. So little clap to him, because I know that he probably ate horribly and felt terrible and was miserable this whole movie, but god damn does it pay off on screen, because he looks amazing. Natalie Portman also returning and reprising her role as Dr. Jane Foster, who we haven't seen since Thor 2, if I'm not mistaken. So it's great to see her come back. It's also great to see she's got this new look as the Mighty Thor. So that's cool. You get to see her as not only big, mighty Thor, but also, without giving away too much, she also has like a lot of vulnerability and a lot of the human side. Just not only with her just being powered these new god powers, but we get to see a lot of her human side come out as well, which is interesting. Tessa Thompson reprising her role as Valkyrie, and it is fantastic. Tessa Thompson really doing her best to try not to steal the entire show. She actually gets kind of booted out of the movie about 2/3 of the way through, which is unfortunate because she's really great in the movie. And just as we start to get a little scratch at like her character development, like we start scratching it like, hey, like you're kind of like drinking away all your like feelings and like scratching it like, hey, like what's it like being like the new leader, and like scratch and like just barely start to peel back the layer. But then it's like, get the fuck out of this movie. We're talking about Thor, not Valkyrie. Would have been cool to see a little bit more of her. She's a very interesting character. She's a great character. It's just unfortunate that there wasn't more of her. And of course, we come to Christian Bale, who we've all been waiting to get into the MCU. Christian Bale, of course, known as one of the best Batmans, and also, I mean, just generally speaking, as a amazing actor. So when you hear about Christian Bale not only jumping into the MCU, but jumping in as like Gorr the God Butcher. So Christian Bale not in the movie a ton, and I feel that that's done purposely so that when he does show up, it's like, oh shit, there he is. But it's just like, I don't know. I wasn't digging the vibe, which kills me to say, and like I know that a lot of people are gonna love it, but am I crazy to feel like Christian Bale was doing like a weird Heath Ledger Joker impersonation? Because he was doing this thing where he's very I'm the bad guy, but then all of a sudden get all jokey and like, what? But then we're back to this, and like it just calls back to that, like the Joker, where he's just like, what do you want to kill me? I don't want to kill you. You're my everything. It's like that whole thing, like he's very like Gorr and like, fuck the gods, I'm here to murder them all. And like, oh, aren't you a Valkyrie? Like that's crazy that the gods betrayed you. So he's always like, he's doing like a jump back and forth, and it's like he's got like a Cockney accent, but then over here he's like serious. It's hard to describe because it's like all the parts where he's talking about his daughter is like great. It's like you really feel like the sorrow and sadness, but all the times when he's like being menacing and like, I don't know, it suffers from the machine gun jokes, dude. Like the submachine gun jokes. Like even when Christian Bale is like, like I'm all trying to put some atmosphere and make everything like menacing, but then they're just like with the machine gun jokes, and it's like you don't even have a chance to like be scared of Christian Bale because they're always like firing back with all the jokes. So you're just like, it's so silly and lighthearted, and like never feels like anyone's really in that much trouble because it's always just like rat-tat-tat-tat-tatting with the jokes every 5 seconds. So, oh my god, the world's gonna blow up. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat with the jokes. Who cares? Like it's all good times. Like just that vibe of like, it's all gonna work out at the end. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat with the jokes, like, you know. Can we please talk about Russell Crowe and his House of Gucci version of Zeus? Russell Crowe as Zeus is like insane. It is so over the top Italian that it's wild, dude. He's like, when my lightning bolt hits the sky, it's like a pizza pie. I'm a Zeus. It's like, what, dude? Why is he Jared Leto from House of Gucci all of a sudden? Like, what is going on here? It was kind of interesting, but after a while, it's like, dude, are you like Luigi from Super Mario Brothers? Like, Thor, it's a me, a Zeus, let's go. It's just like, dude, Russell Crowe, take it down a notch, dude. It's like, Jesus, Russell Crowe, yeah, we get it. The Greek gods, like, yeah, they're Greek, okay, Jesus, but do you have to be like so like, oh, Mamma Mia, it's a Zeus, like, Jesus, Russell Crowe. Visually, the colors are great all throughout the movie until maybe the climax at the end. For the first 2/3 of the movie, it's great because the colors are mostly separated. When it's really colorful, it's just bright and colorful. When they're hanging out with the gods or whatever, everything's really colorful and gold, and it just looks great. And then anytime you're hanging out with Christian Bale, it's very dark and black and white and kind of like the opposite and very dynamic differences, which works great. It looks great until the big climax at the end when the two differences kind of collide and you have like the darkness that is Christian Bale fighting like the bright lightning that is Chris Hemsworth, and the bad guys are so dark that it's hard to see, and then the good guys are so bright that it's like I can't really see them either. So when they're fighting, it's just like, what is even like, I can't tell what the bad guys even look like, and like I can't tell how the good guys are fighting because it's just like a ray of light flying around this like blurry darkness. I can't really tell. So it's like, it works out well for like the first 2/3 of the movie, but that last climactic fight is a little bit visually like too dark and also too bright at like the same time. It's weird, hard to describe, but also hard to see as well. So let's go ahead and hit Love and Thunder with our overall review. Is it the best Thor? No. Is it the worst Thor? No. It's kind of somewhere slightly above average, which is why we're going to have to slap it with a B-. Not the best, not the worst by any means at all. Is it worth seeing? Yeah, totally. You'll have some fun. Go into it expecting it to be, kind of lighthearted. Don't expect too much, and you'll have a great time. Everyone's performances are great. Does anything stand out as over-the-top bad? No. Russell Crowe's accent, maybe? Does anything stand out as over-the-top great? Not really either. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dafuq. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely appreciate it. And if you felt differently about Thor, feel free to hit the comments below. I am your host, as always, Kyle McLemore. We'll see you next time at the movies.